Well, good morning, POTA nerds. Hello. Hopefully, everybody's doing well this morning. I'm Eric, call sign N1JUR, and I'm with my POTA sensei, mentor, POTA partner in crime, Shannon. How you doing this morning?
I am great. I'm Shannon, KC1OHT here in the US or 2 Echo Zero Oscar Hotel Tango in the UK.
Yep. And you can track her and handle her when we get into that a little later for sure. So, we'll show you how to set up all those little cool nuances and get into some POTA wizardry. It's good to see everybody in our chat this morning on a Friday morning. Hopefully it's a little warmer where you're at. Never know. I know, it's a nice balmy 38 here, maybe close to 40, but
What?
yeah,
No, that can't
yeah,
be.
it's a little
Listen,
chilly here in the basement. I got the
if
heater,
if
the
I
heater
pull
on.
up the patented KC1OHT-13 weather station,
Mhm.
it is 59.4 degrees Fahrenheit
Being
here in Lynn, Massachusetts.
Yes, being on
And
the ocean. Up here in the upper country, it is a little chillier. I
um
wouldn't say 30. Okay, so I'm exaggerating. We'll say 48. How is that? A little bit better? It's climbing. I had a little frost on my windows.
And,
Um,
let's not forget what today is, right? It's
well, it's many things.
spooky.
Yeah,
It's
right, exactly.
Halloween. So happy Halloween, everybody out
Yes.
there.
Yeah, good call on that. I totally spaced that. I have this year we have stopped, giving out candy because most of the neighborhood that we live in is got a lot of 20 somethings in there. So they do a lot of parties, but they don't sit on their steps like us old folk and hand out candy. So yeah, we will not be giving that out this evening. But yeah, trust me, I've been eating it even though, which has never helped anything at all. So. All right. Well, cool. We got a lot to talk about today. So we're going to kind of get into it a little bit, but I wanted to kind of catch everybody up. So maybe if you're a first time in here, I saw a few new folks there in the chat. So welcome. And again, thank you for checking us out as always. If you've never stumbled upon this, or you did stumble upon this for the first time, we are basically a morning brew, and we love to sit around and talk POTA. We get into everything about the lovely Parks on the Air program that we all truly adore. So whether you're an activator, maybe you're a chaser, or you're just curious about this cool, exciting ham radio hobby, then you're at the right place. So thank you again for hanging out with us. And yeah, we do this every week, just so you want to bookmark that if you're already a part of the channel here. Shannon and I get together every morning at 10 a.m. here, East Coast time, and we talk about everything good, bad, ugly, indifferent, fun, exciting. Sure, I'll swap our stories about interesting things in the Parks on the Air community. And we get into a whole bunch of cool stuff. So if you want to learn more, this is the place. But we've got some other interesting things I wanted to kind of share with you. If those in the chat may have already noticed that there's a goal set. So kind of being a tough thing as a YouTuber. I mean, Shannon's obviously experiencing this a little bit now. She's got a little bit of an announcement in a second that I'll give her the floor to talk about. But yeah, you always have to kind of deal with the juggling of ads in the YouTube world at the same time trying not to offend a lot of you folks. I mean, you guys are the dedicated listeners that, hang out with us every week. And so I know looking at my analytics that, YouTube's been a little aggressive and whatnot with their ad revenue and kicking off ads like every 4 minutes in some cases. And from my standpoint, I hate the interruptions. I hate having those things get in the way. So I'm going to kind of put together, something of a little bit of a goal here. And so you probably saw the little goal posted a little earlier. And so what I want to do is offer to you guys that, for every episode that we do going forward, we're going to set the goal out there and you can contribute everything. And so if we reach the 10 super chats, I will turn off the monetization for our live stream going forward. Every episode, the idea is that I don't want you guys to always get interrupted. And if we can do that and you guys can hit that goal, then I will go in and turn off monetization. And then that way, you guys will get worry-free and worry interruption, no interruption, I should say, stream of us talking about really cool things. So yeah, if we can reach that goal, that would be awesome. And that will definitely, obviously, keep you guys focused and not have to deal with all of the ridiculous ads. I have no idea what you get bombarded with sometimes, but as I watch it from time to time, it's never fun. So, all right. Well, now we got over those semantics there. Shannon, you've got some announcement.
I do have a little bit of announcement. I just want to thank everybody in chat right now. I have reached 100 subscribers on my YouTube channel. So
Woohoo!
yay! That was very
Nice.
exciting when I saw that. So
Oh
thank you
man.
everybody who has been on my channel, has liked and subscribed.
Everybody, that is
Incredible.
incredible for sure. So yeah, if you haven't been over to her her channel, yeah, she also owns her own frequency too, right? Yeah, you guys have heard
No,
that
that is
before.
against Part 97.
Yes, very much so.
Thank
So if
goodness
you
the
have not,
FCC shut down. They don't know about that.
yeah, for right now everything's fair game, as they say. So here's her link to her channel. So if you have not gone over and subscribed, please head on over there and help her continue to grow. She does some really good content. Always enjoy seeing it from her perspective and some of the cool things. She's a military war buff too, so if you're into kind of that stuff, she's right up your alley then. All right. So with that, like we always do every show, we like to get into our little POTA minute here. And so we've got some interesting things for the hunters this week. All right. Well, good deal on this. So this is the POTA Minute. So what we like to do is give a minute of our time here to talk about maybe a quick topic in the POTA community or something around, the POTA community. And so this week, we're going to kind of get in something for the hunters, like I alluded to. So, yeah, if you're a hunter, and I, from time to time do that myself here. And so we are working on, nice job there, Bob. Thank you again, Bob, for those super chats as well. Keep them coming, and we will definitely make sure we kill the ads forever. So at this point, we want to give those hunters a little bit of, information there. So maybe you kind of got your antenna system set up already, and it's been humming along for a while because you've been hunting like a mad person out there. But I'm going to throw out to you that, maybe before we really kind of get into old man winter letting have a grip on us, that you probably should go out and do a little bit of antenna inspection, because you don't want to have to go out there in the blistery cold because your antenna, fell down, or a coax connector got water in it or whatever. So, this is that PSA moment where, you can head out there with the little warmer days still ahead of us, and get out there, check your coax connectors for any breaks, or maybe that electrical tape is, wearing off. Strip that off, reseal that up. Make sure all your transmission lines are in tip-top shape. Check all of your guy lines, because I know, once I put up my antenna, I was like, oh, this is never going to fall down. And lo and behold, Mother Nature was just like, hey, here, hold my beer. Wait a minute, and we'll, try something different. So I had to go out and fix that a few times from a few tree branches from a very bad windstorm. And so I'd say, make sure, just do a little quick inspection, kind of get a mental visual of, what's above your head, and just check all your connections, all the strain reliefs, all that type of stuff, because you don't want to be in that place where you're trying to chase that one person. Your ham alert went off and you're like, hey, I can get, someone maybe in Arcadia, National Park, US 001, and your ham alert's going off. There's someone up there. Well, yeah, maybe your antenna just got hit by a windstorm and you didn't realize it. And so you fire up your radio, and lo and behold, things start to fall apart pretty quickly. And then you're like, really regretting you didn't spend that little extra time. So now's the time. Head on out, get out there, do a little quick antenna inspection, make sure everything's all tip-top shape before the winter, and replace anything if you need to. And so, that's the little POTA minute there. So, all right, we got a new segment, because I just love segments sometimes, but we've been promoting for a few weeks now, for those folks that have been loyal listeners, as always. We have the POTA bucket list. So you made me mention, or heard me mention about our POTA bucket list. And so we've got a little webpage over on N1JUR kicking off here, called the POTA bucket list. And so maybe you're a type that likes to kind of be a little challenged, and you like others to kind of challenge you and keep you going, and you're motivated either by a task list or whatever, then, we've got a little section over on our website that we're kind of keeping track of folks Maybe you've got a bucket list. Maybe you've got a couple of things you want to try to achieve for the end of the year in some of your POTA activities. Maybe you're looking for a kilo. Maybe you're trying to work towards improving your shack or your setup, your antenna system, or trying out a new antenna. It's a great way to submit. And so you can head over to n1jur.com/POTA-bucket-list and get yourself added to that list. And the goal really is to kind of just help each other and challenge each other and keep things moving along so you can ultimately get, to reaching your goals. And so, yeah, we're going to use this list. I'm going to keep referring back to that. But first and foremost, I obviously wanted to thank all of those that are up there on the list on the screen today for being part of that list and contributing. So if you feel like you want to contribute, you want to help out, and you want to be part of that group, you can head over to that link. There's a little button at the bottom. You can submit all of your, top 5 whatever activities that you want to work. And again, it's not specific, it's just focused on POTA. And so please, come be a part of that, because ultimately we're just keep checking back in with the goal that maybe we might have a little bit of a giveaway, rewards, kind of something, experience sometime in the future at the end of the year when we all get together and kind of celebrate and see where everybody's at. And see how folks have been, doing and making progress and helping one another, become better and more proficient at POTA. Because, the more we get better, the better we have, the more fun we have, the more things we learn, and so forth and so on. So I just wanted to welcome, obviously, these guys, KK7ZKW, Mike, W1TED, Ted, Alpha 4, Alpha Tango, Sean. I always do that with this call sign. I just never can say AA4. I don't know what it is. Alpha 4 just, always rolls off the tongue. Obviously, KC1OHT, Shannon, and Mike, who just joined last week too as well. So thank you guys all for contributing, and we'll keep adding to this. So if you feel led and you want to come be part of that, definitely go over to that link and check stuff out. All right.
So I would just like to thank Roger McKeon. He sent 5 N1JUR amateur radio gift
Thank you, Roger.
memberships. So congrats to everybody that just
Sweet.
got a gift membership.
Very cool, guys. All right. Well, we are just a little bit of the ways to the goal there. So if you want us to kick ads off, get rid of it, just, help me. That way I can shut it off permanently going forward. So you guys can enjoy this ad free, which would be totally awesome. So
yeah, you know what? Ads are ruining ham radio.
Yes, they are. 100%. Yes, you are getting fragmented content because of ads. All right, let's go back to our individual view here. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. Obviously, you're here because you might have looked at the thumbnail and said, "Oh yes, Ham Alert. I love Ham Alert. I use Ham Alert." Shannon and I were kind of talking offline a little bit before we kind of started that it's sort of what we call the ham radio stalker tool. I mean, it's like the tool of the century. I mean, it's almost like it almost is a little scary because we were just talking. I was just like giving her a hard time because she wasn't doing enough POTA, but she was doing other modes and FT8 and a few other things. So it was always fun to kind of rag her on for that, because I know she's a POTA queen when it comes out to being out in the parks than I ever will be in some cases. So it's always good to see that. So yeah, we're gonna get into that.
Yeah, I was a little scared because he knew everything that I was doing on the ham radio at home. He knew I was doing FT8. He knew I was doing Virus C.
We're always watching. Yes. So hopefully, maybe you are a Ham Alert listener, or maybe you're just coming here first time. And so we're going to get into that very I'd say in the deep. So I've got a let me see, make sure I stay to my task list here, because I can go crazy. I am a big fan of Ham Alert. I tweak it a lot. I do a lot of cool stuff. I don't know how, have you use it a lot too as well, Shannon, right?
Actually, not really, I used it like when I was very first to ham before I even did POTA. So I don't know, maybe they added more functionality to it that I didn't know about, but I just recently went on there and I was like, you know what? I want to add my favorite ham radio YouTubers to Ham Alert so that when they're out activating, I can, try to contact them or whatever. And when I went on there and I saw how many different options, it's not just putting in call signs and modes. I mean,
Hmm.
it's you can put in states and parks and DX entities and all this different stuff that I'm sure we're going to get into. And I'm
Oh
super
yeah.
excited to deep dive and show everyone here, maybe
Hmm.
that might not know about it. Um, but also, like I had mentioned to Eric, the thing that sort of sparked me to want to do this subject on the show was that I have, my friends from the PokeNet that
Hmm.
they're always saying to me, like, oh, can you send us an email when you're on the air? Let us know, what
Oh.
time, what frequency. And I'm like, honestly, I don't even know half the time what frequency I'm going to be on until I get out there and I'm in the park and I see. And then it's like once I'm there, I'm trying to spot myself on the POTA app. A lot of times I'm jumping in various discords to say, hey,
Yeah.
here I am, come hunt me. And then, I just don't even think to like send out an email. And emails, it's instant, but it's not, right? Because you don't know if the person is going to check their email and even see the message. By the time they see the message, you may have switched bands or frequencies,
Hmm.
or you might have gone QRT. So, that's, one thing that I like about, Discord for instant communication with people. But also, Ham Alert is just so much better because it
Oh
will
yeah.
just automatically tell you if that person has, changed bands or frequencies or
It
modes.
it is the magic tool of ham radio for eliminating exactly everything you just said, Shannon. So like not having to post to Discord, not having to post to emails, not having to, call or text somebody to say, hey, I'm on, notifications. Now you can become an additional advanced stalker and you can text your buddies when you get a ham alert and say, so and so is at a park. You could be like, hey, dude, I thought you should be working kind of thing, and give them crap, in that sense. But yeah, there's a lot of cool things, and we are going to get into all of it today. So I hope you guys are ready to buckle in and learn a lot. And from there, hopefully become super POTA ham alert senseis, I guess. I don't know. We'll come up with it. We'll work. That's a working title, I guess. We'll figure that one out. So I did want to mention, and I totally forgot this at the beginning, but everybody who lives or maybe listen to Live Free and Ham, which is my other podcast that I do with Todd and the Grouch. Yeah, you've probably been hearing Todd and I not complain, say that we are going to get the kilo done for the rail trail. Well, we've been saying that for probably way too long than I want to admit. But yeah, we finally got something scheduled. So maybe if you're already part of the N1JUR community there and, you've subscribed, you probably got the little notice that we are going to be scheduled for this Saturday. So if you want to be in on the fun, and I'm going to throw the link in there just in case you guys want to add for the show. We are going to be Saturday morning, 10 a.m. We are going to be live streaming from the rail trail there, and we are going to be working our last 26 contacts or so to get to 1 kilo. So, yeah, we're offering a little bit of incentive and prizes for the 999th contact, the 1000th, obviously, and then the 1000th one. So, there's a fair share, at least 3 opportunities for you to kind of get in there and make contact. And so we'll reward those guys and folks accordingly. But please don't all sit there in the background waiting for everyone else to do the heavy lifting and then bombard us at the last, 4 contacts before we cross over 1,000. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun for sure. So we definitely have some interesting things to plan for that. So yeah, come be a part of that. The link here is in the show notes there really quickly. And so, head on over and make sure you hit that notification bell so you can definitely be alerted when we go live that day. So enough of that. Let's get into the fun today, because this is where I think, a lot of you guys, because you've already been throwing stuff in the chat, asking, if we could do certain things. And so we're going to dive into that. Shannon's got control of the chat today. She's going to be just noting. So if you got questions along the way, so as we kind of go through this whole process, we're going to start very basic and work up to some of the advanced stuff. But what got questions, Shannon will note them, and we'll just circle back from time to time, to make sure we get everybody covered. So feel free to throw stuff in the chat, because again, this is going to be one of those useful things that you can always refer back to. I also want to throw out there those that, obviously a part of my community already. I've done a couple of video series on Ham Alert as well. So you can always check those out. Those are very basic entry level kind of things. which we'll cover a little bit in the beginning, but we're going to kind of dive more into some of the other stuff. But like I always love to do, I want to throw out a quick poll for you guys. And so if this is your first time, obviously in the chat, we do what we call hashtag polling. So if you see on my screen here, the current poll is like, have you or maybe you might have used Ham Alert. So if you have, just hit a # yes in the chat there, or you can do # no, or if you prefer, and you're on your PC at home or whatever, I'll throw the link in there and you can click the quick button there on the homepage to add to your votes. And so while that's going on, Shannon and I will kind of set the table here.
I think we needed like I use it sometimes.
Yeah, true. We could add that. Yeah. No, it should be you either use it or you don't, because sometimes means it's just going to be dead on the wasteland and you just ignore it. And so it's, I believe it's either you are all in or you are not. That's the way I look at it. So, all right. So for those folks that are going through here, it looks like we're got the poll there running. So that's good. So let me kind of frame this out a little bit. So it looks like most people, as I'm looking at the votes there, are already, avid users of Ham Alert. So I am going to try to frame this out where we don't get too much into the basics because it's pretty straightforward. So let's just do a quick free frame of what Ham Alert is. So Ham Alert's a great tool that's been out on the web since I've been a ham in 2021. I don't know if it was there prior, probably was. That takes and pulls all of the resources. So whether you're on Soda Watch, whether you're on the RBN, whether you're on the POTA spotting page, whether you're pulling stuff from DXCC, there are many multiple sources that it pulls your call sign information, locations, all that stuff that gets, when it's posted to those areas. People were looking for a way to be able to, like Shannon alluded to earlier, extract that information and put it somewhere so they could hunt those people, that they could get active, and start making calls to them. I mean, it was a big popular thing, obviously, with the DXCC crowd, and being able to do that off the RBN was always a plus, so they could actually work those DX contacts that were, expeditions or whatever. But it kind of blew up from that once POTA kind of took off. And so they have done an awesome job with setting this up, making it free, which I am totally glad that, they're one of the very few apps out there. So I'm going to put the caveat at the very beginning of this, is that if you guys want to make it free, continue to help them out. So I'm going to talk a few ways that you can do that. That helps them obviously conserve some of their resources in this day and age when it comes to computing power. But the other thing is if you can donate to help them, it'll keep them going and keeping this product running, because they're probably pulling it out of their pocket, or they're basically looking for donation resources to be able to help them stuff out. And so always, definitely help try to support these apps, because they will remain free going forward. And definitely, we all want that, because we all use it, 100%. So looks like we'll do, I'd say at this point, I think it's a slam dunk. Shannon, do you agree? Everyone?
Yeah, it sounds like there is no one here that has never used Ham Alert. So
exactly. Yep. So, all right. Well, then that's easy enough. So then let's do a very, very intro level to talk a few things, but I want to bring to people's attention. So let me go to my screen share here. I think this is the one. All right. So this is Ham Alert. So I won't go into setting up Ham Alert. If you want to, I'll post the video links in my description below to this link that you can go back and check those out to setting up Ham Alert. But it's relatively easy. It takes like literally no more than 5 minutes to get done and get your account created. But let's do some of the housekeeping stuff that I want to bring attention to folks that they may or may not. So as we all know, and if you're a Discord user, you probably get overwhelmed with all of the Discord alerts for every Discord you're on. And if you haven't figured out how to do filtering on that, you probably just basically just threw your hands up and said, whatever. Well, Ham Alert can do the same thing to you very quickly. As you start to add to it and start to create things, it can be one of those places that you just, it becomes something you ignore because it's just too much and the information just comes at you like a fire hose. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips and tricks that you probably want to focus on in setting some of your limits in the software. And so let's dive into here. So we're basically at my main dashboard for Ham Alert here, and I'm doing this from the web. And what I would say is that if you've got the mobile app, it's great. It's a little harder to do. It's basically a web applet for all intents and purposes in the background for all the nerds out there. But if you're like me, trying to, use your fat, sausage fingers to be able to create ham alerts always takes a little bit of a challenge. So I always go to the, web browser to be able to modify any of this stuff and always, do all of my heavy lifting and, building from here. So I would say your first trip before you even start building stuff, or if you've already built stuff, timed out here, you want to head over to the limits page. And this is a great tool for both your sanity and the system as a whole for Ham Alert. As you can imagine, it's a free service, and there's already, it's very popular. I can tell you that probably the RBNs that feed all of the information when you're, hunters are out there, the POTA spots page, all of those things. There's a lot of information coming at this system at any one given time. And then it's the kind of multi-deliver to the rest of the world and all of the, user base that's out there using this. So I would say to be a good net citizen, to be a good steward of obviously using this free application, try to set alerts that, help throttle, but at the same time also conserve some system resources for obviously Ham Alert themselves. Because if you've got these things wide open filter wise, you're going to obviously get, multiple emails. You're going to get multiple text messages, SMS messages from the app, from your phone, and you're just going to keep ignoring it. And so spend a little time here, and I'll give you a few suggestions. And then this will go, much more into the future for both a sanity check for you and a benefit. So let's kind of dive into it. So this is the limits page, and there are a bunch of features in here that are very useful. So I set the filters here for the overall. And so the overall is basically how much volume of alerts you get. And as you can tell, you imagine how many I have. If we go back to my triggers page, I can't remember how many alerts I have. I have 42. And I know some folks that are power users of Ham Alert, they have way more than that because they might be hunting DXCC continents or other specific, modes or bands or hunters. And it can get very, very unwieldy fast. So throttling here is always helpful. And so this is kind of my suggestions and my recommendations, but you tailor based off of how you build it. You're going to want to set the limit to your number of alerts in the max of an hour. So I'd say, and as an example, I'll use Grouch because he was out activating last night on 40 meters, and he had a pile up that was crazy busy for, probably a couple hours. And I was trying to work them, but at the same time, my Ham Alert, if I didn't have the throttling on, there was a lot of people just updating the spotting page every time they hit them or every time they worked them. And my Ham Alert would have gone off consistently over and over every time the RBN was updated, every time, he was respotted again. So I would say setting this threshold is a must. And what it can do is help obviously control a crazy alert that might go out too many times because everyone's spotting them in an RBN. And this would be like an example of very popular POTA activator, or maybe a DX expedition or stuff like that. Tweaking these rules are very helpful. So this is what I set. So I basically say for every 50 alerts that come in, that in a 60-minute period, that's all, anything above that, just drop off or don't send. And this tool actually helps you throttle that or confirm whether the throttling is well worth it. So you can always come here, check to see if you've set it too low, set it too high, whatever be the case, and it will tell you whether you've exceeded the rule alert. So this has always worked well for me, and what I usually recommend for folks when they're trying to set this up. This next one is a big plus. So using that same example with, say Shannon or Paul, when Paul was constantly getting respotted, I would have gotten swamped with every time he was respotted in my Ham Alert getting retriggered. So you can set in here for every said interval, and you can change this to your liking. You can set it, but I usually set the number of alerts for a call sign in a alert that I've created to 2 per every 30 minutes, because I figured, like Shannon alluded to, sometimes you could fall off the RBN, sometimes you could go QRT, all of those things can, determine whether you get an alert or you get an alert late, whatever be the case. So for me, this seemed to work really well in my, everyday flows. And you can tweak this again. And I suggest setting, if these are the values you want, I'm going to create a quick PDF file that you can download, and I'll post that in the description after the show of these alerts, so you can kind of go back to that and match these up. But, feel free to tweak them because it will definitely give you a better idea of how to, whether or not you're seeing more or seeing less of a certain hunter or certain activator or location or whatever. The other two that I really like is the per call sign band and mode and per call sign frequency and mode. If you have wide alerts, like, and I'll show you what those mean when we get into those a little bit. If your alerts are, say, we're looking for continents or countries, and you're looking for them on, all the HF bands, you can imagine how many alerts you would be getting. You might want to throttle that by, in your alert design as a, per frequency, per mode, per, band specific, whatever. Well, I'll show you an example related to that, but this will help you control some of those alerts for those individual alerts you set up. And so these, again, my suggestions of what I recommend, what has best worked for me when I first started in Ham Alert. And so far I have been quite happy with the overall settings I have here. So, definitely keep, these in mind and tweak them as you see fit, but I'll have these posted later so you can go back to these. The last one I want to mention is very important for folks that like to hunt soda. Here in New England, we've got a buttload of mountains and a lot of soda activators and whatnot. Soda Watch does alerting in a different way than, say, most of our RBNs and most of our other areas. And so what you want to do is make sure, if you are going to be hunting or you're going to create alerts for soda, to make sure that this is flipped on for the purposes of, not getting duplicate alerts that when Soda Watch posts to its Soda Watch page, and they also post to the RBN, you don't get this weird kind of, double alert and a few other, kind of false positives, what I'll call. So, these are what I suggest as good set of rules, and tweak them as you see fit based off of, your rule set. But, this is a good foundation to start from. So, Shannon, do you have any of this kind of tweaked on yours at all?
No, I only found out about the limits. I think I saw some people talking about it in Discord the other day. So this is great to know that we can set these limits. Yeah, because Paul's was getting respotted on the POTA page. So it just, kept coming through, which,
Yep.
If you look there, it says, per call sign, band, and mode. So if they change mode or if they change band, it's going to send you another alert.
Exactly.
But like, you really don't need 2 alerts every 15 minutes to tell you that, N1OG is on, 40 meters SSB. You could
Yeah.
probably set that to, 1 an hour or something, right?
Exactly right. Something that's more tailored for you, especially like using Grouch's example. I wanted to work him, but like the alert went off and then I forgot like to get off the couch and go work him. And so then the alert the next half hour went off again. And I was like, oh yeah, dude, I was going to go do that. And so, kind of helped me remind me, because I figured when I set it for an hour, I was like, at that point, David already rolled off. Maybe they already, moved to a different band, or maybe they called QRT. So it gives you a little bit of an option to be able to at least still get in front of the radio if you need to. All right, the next piece here is the destinations. Now, this is pretty straightforward, but for those that may or may not be aware, push notifications are the way to go with this. And I can't stress enough that sending an SMS text to yourself, sending a Threema, which is basically sort of going to Slack, which is a different version of Slack, chat. You can do that. I didn't really, integrate any of that stuff because I just wanted it to the one device that I carry around all the time. So as long as I'm carrying around my cell phone, smartphone, I'm always just sending every notification directly to my iPhone. And you can have multiple devices, and every device that you have Ham Alert set up on or added to will basically be listed here in the system. And you can actually set because I know in Ham Alerts, the app itself, you can't tweak the notification, alert. You have to use the obviously system one. So they give you two options here. The default, I think, is the Morse one. But don't quote me on that because I always forget. I always have my phone unmuted, so it only vibrates for me. You can also tweak your Ham Alert format. So this is a really cool option. I love, being able to tailor my own messages for Ham Alert to me. And so you can go in here and using their smart tags, put a push notification title at the very beginning. So every time I get an alert, and I wish I could plug my phone in to show you what they look like on the display, but I upgraded my phone, so I don't have a USB-C connection to my HDMI cable. So that'll be in the future. But ultimately, you can tailor what you want to put in here, and it's limited, I think, to 140 characters. Don't quote me on it. I haven't really pushed it, but I put it in bold caps. So every time it shows up in my feeds, it always says ham alert and then whatever the details are. And you can tweak these words any which way you want, as long as you're still using all of the variables. And if I click on here really quickly, the variables are almost limitless here. So you can tweak it however you want, whether you see full call sign, frequency, band, mode, whatever. And it's only tailored to you no matter how your alert is filtering in Ham Alert. So really cool way to be able to kind of tweak it the way you want versus having to deal with the default messages. So if you really want something very short and sweet, it's really cool. I have a trigger comment here, and I'm going to get into these because these are well worth their weight in gold. So an example, when Shannon hits my Ham Alert, I have at the very end of my trigger here, and I'll just pull that up really quickly so people can see it. So this is the text here that comes across at the very end of that string that says KC1OHT Shannon Socks Girl. So I was like, I see that, and it's like, oh yeah, I know who that is, and I can then see whether I can get to my radio or I can work her or whatever. So it's one of those things that you can tailor these however you want text wise. It's free form. So it's a great way to be able to make that connection in your head. So say like you're hunting, and for a while, an example, I was hunting K-murder, and you get used to his call sign after a while, but when you first hunt him, you're like, what is K at MRD again? Who is that? And so I would always put like, Mike, POTA, master, whatever. And, so there'd be something else after that. And that would come up with the ham alert every time. So very, very useful in helping all of us who, lead busy lives, but still want to be able to pull up and activate or contact those that are on our ham alert list. All right. There's not really the telnet piece is, for those that know RBN and all that stuff, I'll skip over that. But, they have a telnet option. You can pull that stuff from clusters and a few other things. But for most of, I think our audience here, you can probably skip over that. The URL notifications. This is something I'm working on now slowly, but our Discord, and you've probably been on some other Discords where POTA, alerts get posted to a certain channel and stuff like that. Well, this is how you do that, some of that integration with a little bit of JSON and a little bit of, Python and all that to make that all happen. So you can pull from your own ham alert into some other resource and then feed that out and so forth and so on. So it's pretty cool. And again, it's pretty well powerful. Again, it based off itself off the variables, so you can tweak it and tailor it however you want. And so if you're a great coder, and you've done some of this stuff for, let us know in the Discord, because I want to talk to you, because I'm starting that process for Live Free and Ham's Discord. I'd love to be able to get some ideas and thoughts, and maybe, if you're willing to swap some code, let's talk, as they say. All right. So the last piece, which I'm going to stress to everybody, which is a really cool tool. So say you created an alert and you're like, well, I don't know if that's ever going to work, or it's too tailored or whatever. Well, they've built in a nice little tool where you can simulate that frequency, or you can simulate that trigger to see if it actually works. So here you can define full call sign, the frequency, some summit references, if there's summit references that you created a filter on, and you can just test this out. And when you fill it in, it'll trigger it, and it'll go through your alert trigger list. And if it basically all the filters are correctly formatted, then it'll pop a message to your ham alert on your phone or wherever you're sending the notifications to, and show, hey, this alert actually works. So then you can feel confident that the rule you wrote is actually going to work when, it matters, and as they say, when the rubber meets the road. So great little tool. I've had a few folks ask me about this and ran into a few things when they were watching the video. So, feel free to reach back out to me. I am happy to show you how to kind of
Uh-oh. Can you guys still hear me? Something happened. I'm 5'9", but but oh no, I'm 5'9" and Eric is gone. Oh my goodness. And I don't even know how to pick up this show right now because I don't have anything about Ham Alert prepared on my computer. So awesome. We are just going to hang out here and we are going to wait and see if Eric comes back. And, I don't really know how to share my screen here. So even if I could pull up Ham Alert, um, I don't know that I would know how to share it. Let's see. I just got a message. Was it from Eric? No, it wasn't. Um, all right, let's see. Yeah, some Halloween jokes. Knock knock. Who's gonna say who's there? Boo. Boo hoo. Don't cry, it's only a joke. What do you call a boomerang that doesn't come back? I don't know. What do you call a boomerang that doesn't come back? A broken boomerang? A stick. Yeah, maybe. Oh, he said he lost internet for some reason. Oh no. All right, so Eric just sent me a message. He said he lost internet for some reason. So I told him that yeah, so I told him that apparently it's just me on the show now. Let's see. Let's see. See, I don't even know if I go to share my screen, I don't know if it's going to allow me to because I don't have access to actually changing anything on the stream, unfortunately. All right, Eric has entered the chat and he's telling us that he lost internet and he's trying to figure out how to get it back. And yeah, he said I can't add anything to the stream because he's the admin, I'm not. So there you go. Yeah, so it's up to Eric if you want me to keep the show running or if we want to just drop it out and say 7-3 to everyone. But yeah, so I noticed on Ham Alert, what I really liked that Eric had was that you can actually put the call signs into groups, right? So, say for like myself, I have two call signs. So, you can actually make one trigger for my two call signs, and then it sort of keeps your Ham Alert a little bit more organized instead of having 100 lines of different triggers because you have 100 different ham radio friends. Or I noticed that he had um everybody from the Hillbilly Hams was under one trigger, or everybody from Live Free and Ham is under one trigger. So I really liked that functionality, and that actually kind of plays into what he was saying before he very so sadly what he said very so sadly before he dropped out was that, you know, what was he saying? Oh, about the simulation. So, I had put multiple people under the same trigger, and I actually wasn't sure if that was only going to trigger if all of those call signs were spotted, or if just if it would trigger if just one call sign was spotted. So somebody had told me about the simulate and that you could simulate the spot. So that was really useful. So then I figured out that yeah, Shannon, we're gonna probably just wrap up this live stream, this poor, ugly live stream with literally nothing on it except for me in a tiny little circle. And we're gonna have to go back and we'll have to redo Ham Alert live stream next week, I guess. So everybody be looking out for that. Oh yeah, he's testing my hosting abilities. Well, my hosting abilities would be better if I had the ability to actually share stuff on the screen. So that's okay. I am gonna I need to brush up myself on how to set things up on EVMux streaming platform so that I can learn how to make scenes and change scenes and get stuff up on the screen. So I'll have to have Eric, when his internet comes back up, give me a crash course in that. Um, but it has been a great show. It has been a great show, such as it was for the 45 minutes that we got to do the show. And we'll look forward to seeing everybody next Friday. So I'm going to say 7-3 for now. I hope everybody has a great day, a happy and safe Halloween. And I'll catch y'all on Discord. All right. 7-3, everybody. Bye-bye. I don't even know, can I go on live? I don't think I can turn the stream off. If I just leave, is it going to turn the stream off? Or will there just be no one in there? I think the stream is stuck on because I'm not an admin. Okay, Eric says if I just log off, then Eric says if I log off, then the stream will stop. And I can probably stop it manually on my own side. So 7-3, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.